What's his name? Notorious. Come on.
We'll start off with why don't you just introduce yourself to everyone who you are.
Hi, I'm Michael Hall, and yeah, that's who I am, bro. I'm a professional boxer.
Yeah.
I'm 7-1-1.
Yeah,
One's a one loss, one technical draw where I
watched that.
technical draw. I won the fight, but
bullshit. What
yeah,
happened?
it's
Doctor
fucking
stoppage.
it's dodgy, bro. Like boxing's a dodgy game.
Doctor stoppage at the end of
It is what it is, but
round 2. You cut him.
yeah, he was cut in round 2, and then they stopped it in round 3 because if it goes to round 4, then I win the fight on points because I was already ahead.
Mhm.
But up to 3, they can just call it off as a draw due to an accidental cut.
Oh, how's it accidental?
But,
Wasn't it
like,
for punches?
You know, when you see, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't really matter what actually happened. It's what they say happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the judge and the officials say it's from a headbutt and it's accidental, that's what they rule it, and that's all you can do. You know, like
Shit.
if it was in Sydney, they would have let it fight on. You know, like,
Mhm.
but because it was the hometown boy in Canberra, you know,
Yeah,
the favorite, he's put all the money into the show, so
that's tough.
they try and save him. It's a business, bro. It's all.
It's tough because I feel like boxing record matters more. And you see in MMA, and it's totally different, but you can have like 5-6 losses and still get to the top of the top. But I feel like boxing, everyone's protecting their record, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier to promote a guy who's got all wins or very low
Yeah.
losses. The main thing was that it was on TV. Do you know what I mean? So the whole of the country was watching. The whole of the boxing audience, they know who won the fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, the Oz boxing guy, like whatever his name is, I think he's Damon or whatever. He was like commentating, and then like he was saying that I got ripped off. You know what I mean? Like that's from like everyone heard that, everyone's seen it. So you know it is what it is. But at least it like got a bit of what do they call it? A bit of clout out of it. You know what I mean? A bit of hype.
We'll go back into that a bit later. We'll talk about what's happening after that fight and the lead up to it. But we'll start very early. You brought up in Villawood, went to Bass High School. We'll get you into boxing.
Yeah, bro. So, mate, I was a rugby league player, as you may or may not know, and I love footy, man. I love footy, but I was fat, bro. I was a fat kid when I was 12, and I always said I wanted to try boxing. And one day I just said to my mum, I'm like, hey, mum, I'm going to the boxing gym. She was like, nah, you're not going. I'm like, all right. I got on my bike, bro, and fat little Michael fucking pedaled down the street, and I went to Chester Hill, what is it? Chester Hill Bowling Club, whatever it is there, the RSL club there, because I knew they had boxing there. And I sat out the front, bro, and I sat there every day until the trainer said, hey, mate, do you want to come upstairs? And then he took me up there, and then he talked to my mum, and my mum let me go. So
how old were you?
That's a guy called Sam. I still talk to Sam. I was 12.
12. All right. So that's year 7, year 8.
Can you hear
Quite
me?
young. Yeah. You got me?
Yeah. Well, bro, I would have been in year 7.
All right. It's young. And what?
I was a fat little kid, and I actually stopped when I was 13 because they shut that gym, and then all of the boys from that gym went to Bankstown PCYC.
Yeah.
But my mum, being a mum, she told me you had to be 14 to go there, and that I was too young. So then she stopped me for a year, like without me knowing. And later on, I found out this. But then when I turned 14, I took myself there, and I started training there from when I was 14.
That's mad.
And then I started sparring when I was like 14 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, man, because I sparred a boy in year 12, and I was in like year 8, and I broke his nose, bro. And I was like, went to school the next day, and I was so scared because he was like a lebo. And
is he at school?
Like at Bass High, a fucking group of lebos come up to you, bro. Huh?
Is he from our school?
Yeah, he went to our school, like a guy in year 12 at our school. Yeah. I was terrified, man. I remember going to school, and I remember like a group of boys were like, "Oh, you're the boxer, and they all shook my hand, bro. I was like, mad respect instantly. I was just like, all right, I thought I was gonna get bashed, but
Nah,
it's just like it was a way in, you know what I mean? And
at Bass High, it's all
but
footy.
from that moment, yeah, like from that moment, man, like that's what really got me into it. Like you get a bit of respect, and once you get a bit of respect, it's like it changes your life.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what got me hooked more than the actual sport, just the respect that other people give to you.
Yeah, because at Bass High, I can imagine being an all predominantly footy school as a small or chubby white boy, and then going from that playing footy,
Yeah, bro.
the fobs and the
As a
lebos,
fat little white kid and
and then
in
change
a
to a
school
boxer.
full of like Lebos and Islanders.
Yeah, would have been a big
But
difference.
yeah, that's how I got started in the old fisticuffs.
So our boxing work is you're an amateur for a while, correct? And then you move on when you think you can make the switch to professional.
So the way it works is you're amateur, or most people start as amateur. Some jump straight in, like Sonny Bill didn't have any amateur fights. Like you can turn professional whenever you want, whenever you see you're ready. But to be professional, you got to kind of be promotable, if that makes sense. So if you've had no amateur experience, you're not going to win fights, bro. So like, unless you've got massive money behind you, promoter's going to put you on knowing you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've had a good amateur background, you went to you've fought for the country, you fought for the state, then you're going to win. So people are going to back you. Promoters are going to want to promote you because you're a winning fighter and you might go somewhere in the future.
Yeah.
And more than anything, you're going to bring a crowd to come and watch you because you're going to be entertaining.
Yeah. What gym did you?
So
you went to PCYC, but what did you move to a gym when you were like, all right, I want to take this seriously, maybe make a career out of this?
Yeah, man. So I trained at PCYC until I was about 18, and when I was 18, man, I was pretty much training the classes and being a fighter. So I was like coaching and fighting, and it wasn't really getting anything out of it anymore. And that's when I moved to a professional gym, and I went to the Toe-to-Toe Boxing Academy, trained by David Birchall. Still talk to Birchie. He's a good man. Everyone in the boxing community knows him. And then when I was with him, I fought more high-level amateur fights. We tried for the Commonwealth Games, got ripped off, but that's a different story. I beat the guy ranked number 2 in the country. We kind of just fought anyone. Didn't really matter. It was more about experience because we knew we were going to turn professional at the end of the day. Yeah. And then, so like, bro, I literally fought 1 week at 70 kilos and then I fought the next week at 80, not because I was 80, but just for more experience. Yeah. So that was more of a learning curve. And then I end up moving again because I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere with Birchie, and his gym was kind of going under, like in the sense of a lot of fighters were leaving. So like it wasn't a place where you were going to keep progressing. So then I moved to the Body Punch family with the Hussein brothers. And then I turned pro in 2015 under Billy and Hussey Hussein. Yeah, that's pretty. And then famous. I stayed. It's a pretty famous gym in Sydney, eh? Yeah. It's a big gym in Sydney, man, and got a lot of fighters, a lot of boys. You rub shoulders with some of the best in the country, and it's a great learning experience and a great environment, man. I was always treated like part of the family, and it's a great place to be. You like when you're training, you might end up sparring Billy Dib one day, or be doing drills with Paul Fleming the next day, and you're all teammates, bro. It's like the same as being in an NRL team is what it's like when you train over there. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, when you have fights coming up, like you fight on big cards. I fought on a Rennie Masul card, and then Hazem El Mesri came into the gym and was like watching us train. You know what I mean? He was one of my idols growing up as a kid in Bankstown. Yeah. It's it's pretty cool. So we're talking about coming out of Body Punch gym. And I was just drawing back onto the last week or so. We had City Kickboxing Gym in New Zealand, which is big MMA gym in the UFC and all that sort of stuff. And they're showing now with the adversity they're going through how close they are as a gym.
They seem like they're a tight knit family, you know, in and out of the gym. Is that sort of vibe at Body Punch?
Oh man, I'm not at Body Punch anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't finish my story. I changed gyms. I'm at UTC now.
I guess what I was trying to say,
Lincoln Hudson.
maybe more, is that what it's like in a boxing gym here in Australia? Wherever you go?
Yeah, man. Like, bro, I studied health science, and something that really stuck with me is a coach is more what was the word? A coach is more
Mentor.
It's gonna hit me in the head, and it's gonna be like a ton of bricks. A coach is more instrumental in an athlete's life than any other person in their life. You talk more to your coach. You talk more to your coach than you talk to your parents, bro. You tell them, you trust them more. Like, I talk to my coach every day, if not every second day. You know what I mean? Like, call him, even though we're in lockdown and we can't train as much as we want, or we can't like go places and stuff. I'll still call him and talk, see how he's going, what's happening, how's his family. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like me being a cheesy cunt, I sent him ice cream via DoorDash just because I felt like ice cream. So I was like, you know what, cuz, you can have some fucking ice cream. But yeah, man, gyms are very, very family orientated. Like, it's not just UTC, it's not just Body Punch. Everywhere you go, they have a family type vibe. It's a different vibe in each gym. Some gyms are very different to other gyms, and you mightn't fit in that family, but a lot of them are very family orientated. Like, it just depends on personalities and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get different people clash with different people, but there's always a very nurturing and motivating type environments going on, because you got to remember, bro, like, when you're training for a fight, you're training not only to hurt someone, you're training to be hurt. So you've got to prepare for the worst and the best. So you need to have people that you trust around you.
Yeah. And you said you debuted in 2015, you went pro. You went on a 6-fight streak.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good in between 2015, 2017. So pretty active in that time. And 4 of those KOs, 2 unanimous decisions. And then you had a loss, your first loss. What was that like?
Man, that was a bit of an eye-opener, because I did a lot of things wrong.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people know this, but I cut like 14 kilos in 5 weeks for that fight.
Was it a different weight that you normally
The fight
fight?
was in Feb. No, the same weight, bro. The fight night was February 3rd, and I was a fat cunt on Christmas, bro. And just, do you know what I mean? Like, I ate too much Christmas ham and fucking, you know, just was being a regular human, just because, like, in the back of my head, it was just like, bro, I'm going to bash this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm 6-0. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the best. Like, you know what I mean? People pumping you up, and you believe your own hype. So,
were you still at Body Punch?
I was still at Body Punch, and I didn't feel like I trained the best. It wasn't a really good preparation for that fight. You know, there was a few stones that I didn't turn, and no one else to blame but myself, like, looking back. But, you know, like, when you look back and you grow forward and you move on, you realize, like, next time I can't do that. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, down to the point where you have to pinpoint it, man. Like, if you're fighting at 70 kilos, you need to be, say, 76, 77, 8 weeks before the fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, 8 weeks before the fight, you need to be within 10% of your body weight. Like, it's very scientific. If you're more than 10%, it's going to cause much stress. Not that it's not doable, because it's very doable, but you're going to cause stress on your body, which you don't need to, because then you're not going to perform at the best of your ability.
Yeah, I mean, it must...
And yes, I am a fucking nerd. You heard it here first.
What do you mean, a nerd?
Oh, like, as in, you can use science to sport and break it down. Like you actually have to use the calculations to be within your certain parameters. You know what I mean? Like, when I say it's got to be 10%, there's a reason behind it, and it's not just you need to be this weight because it's easier. It's like, no, because you're going to actually affect your performance, because your muscles are going to fatigue from not having enough oxygen being pumped back into them.
Yeah. Well, it must be hard as well, coming off the, your first 6 fights professional ever, KOing 4 people, and then 2 not very close fights. I guess you can fall in the trap of getting a bit complacent. So I guess that's something that
Yeah,
maybe
well,
you
bro, I was
needed.
just believing my own height.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And then even though I didn't fight good that night, some people still said I won. Like, like I lost on split decision and I was dropped, and I wasn't dropped because I got hurt. I was dropped because my feet were in the wrong place. And then
yeah,
straight away, as soon as you get a knockdown, that's a 10-9 round.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So if you get a 10-9 round in a 6-round fight, you have to win every single other round to win the fight.
yeah,
So if you take out that knockdown, I win on 2 of the judges' scorecards. So it's just little changes that I could have made and I should have made change that fight.
yeah,
And I've called that guy out like 3 times for a rematch. We've had promoters like promote it and he's pulled out. Like, he doesn't want this smoke, as they say.
That's it.
Maybe he
Talk
does.
your
Maybe
shit.
promoters just aren't paying him enough.
Talk your shit.
We really don't know, but I'm down like to fight whenever.
So after that, did you move from body punch straight after that, or was there another fight in between?
No, man, I had another fight with body punch back in the winners circle.
Yeah.
But man, I left body punch. I'm guessing this is where this is alluding to. I left body punch, man. Just I wasn't very active, as you can see. There's a lot of breaks and a lot of the times, like I was getting a lot of pull outs on me. Like I was scheduled to fight like 3 or 4 times, man, in like 6 months, and not one of them came up. And then I lost the hunger to train, because it was like every time I start training, I'd have a pull out. So then it's like, why am I training? Like, it's not going to happen, type of thing. And then I kind of said to myself, I'm like, bro, if you're going to do this, you got to move now and move and try and better your career. Otherwise, you're going to be too old.
Yeah.
Like, so it was no bad blood or nothing personal. It's just I felt like I needed to be a better person. I needed to be a different person.
Yeah. Just to paint a bit of a broader picture, when you are setting up fights, is it body punch setting up for you? Or do you have a manager who's looking after all that stuff?
So at that time, it was like body punch. Like Billy was my trainer and manager. So he was doing all that type of stuff. Where and again, now I'm with Lincoln, and Lincoln is my trainer and manager. You can have both, but unless you're like, Tim Zoo and you're fighting overseas, sometimes you don't really need to, because they're conflicting interests in a sense of things, and it's not a big level, so you're not making all that amount of money, so you don't really need more people for such a small scale.
Yeah. I'm talking about money. For people that don't know, you're also working full-time, training full-time, trying to make a career out of boxing. How hard is that?
Bro, it is fucked. It is absolutely fucked. Like, I work, last week I did 55 hours. The week before that I did 50 hours. And, not a choice, just we're busy at work. But like, if you work 40 hours a week, for example, like most people, to fight, man, you have to train 2 to 3 hours every, like 6 days a week.
And that's
not including your recovery sessions. That's just to keep up. That's not including recovery. That's not including your warm-ups, your stretching. That's just your basics, you know what I mean? Like, then on top of that, 2 hours, most of the time you're going to do an hour worth of strength, twice a week. You're going to go on an extra run, then you got to do recovery sessions. So, bro, you're not really left with much time for the rest of your life whilst you're working and training, But in this country, unless you're Tim Zoo and you have 100 sponsors, you got to do it, man, because boxing isn't NRL, bro. Like, that's it just doesn't happen.
Something I want to get into is, I guess, basically, we'll start off with, how do boxers at the start get paid? Someone who's got 5 professional fights or just starting as a professional, do they get paid, and how do you get paid when you don't have someone famous behind you or 1,000 sponsors? How does it work?
At the base level, bro, you have to sell tickets, man. and it's shit because you have to go around and ask all your friends and family to come watch you fight. But if you don't bring, for example, 50 people to watch you fight, you don't get paid. You don't have a fight, you know, because you gotta put in something for your opponent if you're the home team. So you gotta basically you have to sell tickets, bro. If you don't have sponsors or anyone behind you, you have to sell tickets to get a fight, and that's all there is to it. Like, you know, sometimes that's it. Sometimes a promoter will say you have to sell $4,000 worth of tickets to get the fight because they've got to pay the opponent $2,000. They've got to pay for this. They've got to pay for that. Then they've got to pay you. Do you know what I mean? Wow. And then so you basically sell a shitload of tickets and you don't get much of that money yourself. It's a shit go, but it's the way you got to move forward. Like, boxers need sponsors, man. That's the only way to make it work. To make it work without killing yourself, like, and begging people to come watch you fight. You need sponsors, or your other option is you be a B-side fighter and you fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place,
and you just get paid.
And then you don't sell tickets, but you just get paid. But a lot of the time, bro, people don't want to fight you if you're a good fighter. People only want to fight fights they can win. Yeah. Because again, like you said before, people are protecting their records. Yeah. So, you know, like, they're not going to offer you a fight where they think you're going to come close to beating them. Sorry. They're only going to offer you the fight if they think they're going to win. And I guess that's a fine line. If you chose to, if you know, maybe I won't go so far in this world and I just want to make a bit of coin, I'll be a B-side fighter. But at the same time, if you take too many of those fights and you know, your record falls to like 2-15, they also don't want that shit record on their record, eh? Exactly right. They also don't want that record, and you also might have brain damage. Yeah. And bro, to be honest, you're not getting that much money. Do you really want to get bashed and like wreck your health for that? Like, for example, a lot of fights, if you're fighting for 4 rounds, you might get $1,200. You know, it's average is 300 a round. You might get less. Yeah. You know, you're really gonna, like, let's say you get $2,000. Is getting bashed really for $2,000? Is it really worth it? And you got to take time off work too, bro. So if you make $1,000 a week at work, are you really gonna sacrifice? Let's say you take 1 week off work, that's $1,000 for $500. If you made $1,500 for the fight, are you really getting bashed for $500? Like, yeah, I guess it's a big issue, bro. You can get brain damage, bro. Like, is it worth it? Is your health worth $500? I guess that's what people don't realize. With, you know, boxers and professional fighters, is so much sacrifice, not only into training, into time away from, you know, family, but on top of that, you got to balance work, your health, you know, your income. If you're supporting people, like, it's a massive. There's a lot of big sacrifices to make for a small chance to. Bro, there's a lot, and you got to really love it, bro. You got to really love it. You got to really want it, and it's more about what you're willing to sacrifice for it, and how long you're willing to sacrifice it to. You know, like, everyone's got a time. You know, every fighter will be like, all right, bro, after I hit 30, that's it. I hit 32, I'm done. You know, like, you might say, I need to have 15 fights, or I might need to have 20 fights. I need to do this, I need to do that. But sooner or later, everyone's gonna say enough's enough, because you're not making $1 million, bro. You're not an NRL player. You're not Sonny Bill. You're not going to come over and get $500, $500,000 a fight. You know. How old are you, bro? That's what it is, man. Me? How old am I? Yeah. How old do I look? 22. Oh, well, I've got to make a guess because I know you and your family. I was 26, 27. Bro, I'm 30. Actually, you look younger than 30. Bro, I'm actually 30. Yeah, no, I'm 30. I know I'm immature and I'm pretty. I know. I understand. I act 12. Well, man, as you know, my younger brothers, I bring them up. Like, I was like a second father to them. So I've always had to be more mature. So then when they kind of got old enough to be men, I kind of to look after them. So that's why I'm a bit of a clown, and you probably think I'm a bit younger and a bit of a dickhead because I fuck around too much. So we touched on, you know, how hard it is. That's the truth. How hard it is financially, and in terms of sponsors and trying to get big. But
how hard is it to balance all these things and stay disciplined to extra training, eating well, dieting, especially like times around Christmas, like you mentioned, birthdays, going out, all that sort of stuff? How hard is it to stay disciplined and, you know, keep that clear sight?
Bro, it's too hard. Like, it's too hard. You need to really be strong about it and have goals. Man, there's the amount of times that birthdays will come around and I've not had cake. It's been really depressing. But, you know, when you know that you got to fight, you know that it's for the better, because then after the fight, you're going to go have cake. Like, people laugh, but, you know, after fights, the boys are like, oh, let's go out drinking. Let's go do this. Let's go. You know what I do, bro? Bro, I go and I eat cake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For my first, like, 5 fights, I went to Bankstown Sports Club and I went to the cafe and I got a piece of chocolate cake and ice cream. And that was my celebration, bro, because of all the cake that I missed out on, all the parties. You just got to be strong, bro. It is hard, man. It is hard. And like, on the lockdown's been fucked. So lockdown's killed boxing. But that's like the year before, when there was no lockdown, I was like, fuck this. On my birthday, man, I just ate whatever I wanted. I was like, I haven't had a birthday cake on my birthday for the past couple of years. I'm having one. Just like, you know what? We'll sort it out later, bro.
Yeah.
But it is tough, and it's even tougher when you don't have sponsors. Then you have to go to work as well, because you don't have that luxury of knowing that, oh, I've got tomorrow, I can go train for 4 hours and make up for that meal. Bro, you got to go to work. Go to work, get home, and then try and train. You don't have that extra time, so
and it's not like
you got to make choices, bro.
It's not like eating the best foods, you know, your steak every day or chicken every day. Your supplements is cheap. It's pretty costly, and then on top of that, you got to pay for.
It's expensive.
Yeah,
it's an expensive game, but if you want to do it, it's what it costs, bro. You know.
Yeah, that's what comes with it, I guess.
Please stop depressing me. Can we be a little bit more positive?
Let's talk about your KOs. You had 4 KOs off the bat. What's that like?
Bro, it's all right.
Good feeling?
It's all right, but man, I was but man, I was a high level amateur. Do you know what I mean? Like, my last 5 fights as an amateur, I fought guys that fought at the Commonwealth Games. Do you know what I mean? Like, fought all around the world. You know, they were hard fights. When I turned pro, the first 6 guys that I fought, if I didn't beat them, I would have retired. And I said that before each fight. I'm like, bro, I'm going to knock. No, seriously, I said to my mate, I'm like, he's like, are you going to win? I'm like, bro, I'm going to knock this guy out within a round. And he's like, you can't say that. I'm like, go watch. This is going to happen. I went out and knocked the guy out in 30 seconds. So it's like, there's levels, man. Do you know what I mean? When you turn pro, even if you're at the top of the amateurs, you go back to 0 and you're nothing, and you got to build your way back up. Yeah. So the first few guys you fight, they're nobodies. Do you know what I mean? They're nothing as well. So when you're nothing and you fight nothing, if you were good, you should demolish them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it's a good feeling when you knock someone out, but when you know that you're going to walk in there and knock someone out, it's kind of just another day, man. Yeah. It's kind of like, people say it's another day at the office. It really is. Like, that's all it is. It's just like, I know this is going to happen. It's the way it is. Like, it gets to the point where it's just like, you want harder fights because you don't want that feeling. You know, you want to earn that feeling. Yeah. Like, in my last fight, the guy was the New South Wales champion. So, like, and he was, 6 fights, 6 wins. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So when I was about to stop him, that's the good feeling. That's when you feel like, like this is amazing. Like, that's the orgasmic feeling.
You challenged yourself, and you got over that challenge.
Like when you challenge yourself and you get over that line, like that's when it's worth it. That's when you say it's amazing feeling. Like, that's when you feel accomplished.
Yeah. I guess it's a feeling you're chasing, hey? Just want to get back in there.
Bro, you're always chasing that high. You always want to, You know, you don't want to sign yourself up knowing that it's only going to be a 30-second fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to go all night long. You know, you want to ride the wave.
Mm. What's it like training with, you know, some rubbing shoulders, like you said, with some of the best fighters in Sydney, who had the likes of, like you said, Paul Fleming, Billy Dibb?
Bro, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, but like growing up, because I've always been in the sport, man. Like I sparred Mundine when I was 18. So you rub shoulders with these guys, and then you realize that they're just humans too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because we put them on a pedestal, but when you actually hang out and chat, like I'm good mates with Paul Fleming. Do you know what I mean? Like, regular human beings. Like I walk down the street, like before lockdown, I think I was in Double Bay. I was walking down the street and like Billy Dibb yells out because he's seen me across the road. This is a 3-time world champion, but he's a good human. Do you know, like you rub shoulders with these guys, and when you first do it, you're like, oh my God, like starstruck, take a photo. But you learn that they're regular humans, and they just want to talk to you like a regular human, bro. They don't want you to.
Like you said, you know, you've sparred Mundine at a young age. That's pretty cool. Is there any, when you first got into boxing, you're fresh to the sport, is there anyone you kind of looked up to?
Yeah. You'll probably laugh about this, man, but Skinny Hussein was my favorite fighter for years. And he actually, funnily enough,
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Skinny Hussein is?
No.
Really? All right. Well, Skinny Hussein is Nadel Hussein, which is he's one of the coaches at Body Punch.
Australian fighter.
So Skinny Hussein is like Australian fighter. Yeah, Australian fighter. Australian fighter from Bankstown of all places. So like growing up watching him on Fox Sports, like I was always into him, and like Skinny is the reason for the name Body Punch. Like he is an absolute animal, bro. If you've got a spare 10 minutes, go chuck in Skinny Hussein highlights and you'll just watch people get munched from body shots day after day. So growing up, I used to be a big fan of his, and then I didn't realize his family lived next door to my auntie. So I went to my auntie's house one day, and I seen him getting out of the car with a title belt. I remember being like 8 years old, like, because I used to watch fights with my dad when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember being 8 years old, bro, and I just like, I couldn't talk. I was like tapping my mum. I'm like, mum. And she's like, what? And I'm like, it's Skinny Hussein. She's like, yes, Michael, you've met him 100 times. Like he's lived here his entire life. And like, bro, when you're 8, 9 years old, you don't realize this, you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh my God. And then like, obviously they introduced me because they lived next door. Yeah. Then later on in life, when I trained in the gym with the boys, they were just always giving me shit because it was like, oh, where's the fat little kid gone?
Yeah, that's mad. What about on a global scale? Who was going around at that time when you were that young?
Bro, Roy Jones. Roy Jones is my number one fucking fighter of all time. Any weight, any time, Roy Jones wins.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear anyone's arguments. It's Roy Jones. Middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, whatever you want. Not heavyweight. He's a bit small for heavyweights, but he wins, bro. Like, he won a heavyweight world title. Bro, like, everyone loves Mayweather, but I still prefer Roy Jones. That's just a personal preference. I still love Mayweather, and he's beautiful to watch. His defense is just next level, but still Roy Jones. But if you really want to watch good Mayweather, watch early Mayweather. Watch him when he's pretty boy. Don't watch him when he's money. When he's money, he's too good for.
I was on Instagram and I was scrolling. I think it was his first fight ever come on my thing, and bro, he was fucking fast.
Yeah, bro, he's a machine. He won in the first round. Like, I know the fight you're talking about. He bashed some like Mexican looking bloke.
Yeah.
Bro, he was an animal when he was young. Because you got to remember, like when he finished fighting, he was fighting at super. He fought all the way down at like lightweight and like super lightweight, bro. Like so, he started at like 56 kilos and worked up to 70 kilos. So
Yeah.
you see, at the end of his career, when he's taken people 12 rounds, that's not the best him that you could watch. If you watch him when he's a bit lighter, bro, he was murking cunts.
Yeah.
He was dropping bodies everywhere when he was younger. Like, and he won world titles, but to get more money, he just built up and built up and built up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll move on to you.
Like, if you want to go watch him versus Arturo Gatti, and he's a machine. Say it again.
So your last fight was how long ago was it? So I don't even know how long we've been in COVID for.
Bro, I was in April, so bro, it's 6 months.
Oh, so yeah. So you came out just after one of the first lockdowns. You had a fight, and then now we're going into another lockdown.
Yeah, bro, I was lucky to get a fight in. Like,
yeah.
So after because we had lockdown from what, like December the year before, and we were training and like, bro, we were meant to fight in Melbourne before the Melbourne kicked off their lockdown in like February. So then when finally we got a chance to fight, I was just like, yes, like I don't care, like let's go.
So now in the present time, we're in lockdown. We've been locked down for a while. Pretty much all of Sydney boxing and most of Australian boxing is on hold. What's next? You just keeping fit?
Bro, I'm keeping fit. In the back of my head, they're looking at doing a card in Bankstown on December 11. In the back of my head, I want to be fighting on that. But again, who knows if that's going to go ahead with lockdowns. Like, they had a date in September. That date got pushed back to October. That date got pushed back to November. That date's now December. So I'm not getting my hopes completely up. But if we're out of lockdown, which they reckon we're going to be out in 2 weeks, I'm going to try and chuck my hand in the barrel, bro, and hopefully I'll get a fight in December.
I'll be there.
If you're not fighting in December, then you pretty much got to wait till February, maybe even March, because everything kind of shuts down in December and January.
Yeah, I'll be there, bro.
Christmas reasons, but
I guess stay ready.
I know you will be supporting.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
It.
Man, it's been difficult with lockdown, but it is what it is, man. I mean, everyone's going through it.
That's it,
just
bro. I look forward to it.
Kick on, I guess.
We'll wrap it up. I've got a couple questions I want to ask you. Just some that I asked all the other guests at the end. Seven questions set, 7 tackles set, as you may know. First question here. Hopefully this internet connection holds up. Who is your favorite athlete?
Athlete? Like out of any sport? Wow. Fuck. Still probably Roy Jones.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, I don't know if you know, but boxing was so easy for him. He went and played minor level like NBA before one of his world title fights at one stage in his career.
Seriously.
Like, that's when you're an athlete, bro. You go and do a fucking basketball game beforehand.
It's Sonny Bill-esque. I say a match day song, but I guess in boxing you get a walkout song. So what's the one song you'd pick if you only had one song to walk out to for the rest of your life?
Oh, well, bro, I've walked out to the same song like 7 out of 9 fights, and it would be oh fuck, now, bro, you're putting me on the spot.
I've heard it too. Is it 50 Cent or Eminem?
Hang on, bro.
Nah.
It's Patiently Waiting by Eminem featuring 50 Cent.
So
because you hear 50 Cent, but it's actually Eminem's song.
I got both of them, I remember.
But what was I going to say? I was meant to walk out to my last fight, but one of the other fucking oh no, I did walk out to it. I was meant to walk out to something else. I was meant to walk out to an Eminem song, and then one of the main event fighters had it. So they said I can't have that, and then that was a sign that I had to come out to patiently waiting yet again. So I was like, you know what, it has to be the one.
Worked that well. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Bro. Man, I'd live somewhere fuck off on my own, eh? I don't even know, man. Like, I don't know. New Zealand's pretty, probably like, because I like hiking and all that type of shit, man. Maybe like somewhere like Norway or something, like Iceland, like all those. I don't know which one it is, like Iceland or Greenland, like all those beautiful natures. But then you'd miss your family too much. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably still be in Sydney, realistically.
First, that's a
But
first.
it'd be nice to. Well, where would you live?
Fuck. I haven't even thought about my answer.
See, because you got to think about it. Like everyone's going to say LA or Miami, Las Vegas, but when you're a family man, you can't live there. Like, fuck, that's not a life.
I think maybe Sydney too, but I'd pinch I'd hate myself if I didn't say LA, just so for the fact that I'd love to go to basketball games every fucking week.
Yeah, but you couldn't live there with your family. Like you couldn't just.
Nah, yeah.
It wouldn't be the right place. You know what I mean? Especially. Like, because I'm the same, bro. Like, it's like, I'd love to go to Vegas and like I could train in LA or live like base over there, but you wouldn't be able to survive, bro. It's not feasible for an actual life. Like, it'd be nice for 6 months, 3 months, but
I guess I
not
wouldn't
a
want
forever
to.
plan, man.
I wouldn't want to raise my family anywhere but Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. So you gotta, like, if you're thinking about that, you gotta think realistically. Like, but fuck, if it was just for like a holiday, bro, take me to Spain. I'll go chill over there on a yacht or some shit.
If you could only eat
Greek islands, hang
one
out.
food or cuisine, what would it be forever?
Ice cream. Ice cream.
Forever?
Bro, shut the gates.
That's a diet Mike talking.
Bro, 100%. Like, it's the first thing you crave, the last thing you crave. If you had to do it, you had to do it. And ice cream.
What's your biggest fear?
Bro, I don't know. It's always changing, man. I don't know. I guess probably loss. Like losing your loved ones is everyone's biggest fear.
Yeah.
But I'm terrified of snakes. I'm deadly terrified of snakes, bro. I'll swim with sharks. I actually want to swim with sharks, but do not put me in a room with a snake, bro. I fucking hate it. Like I'll run across the road.
It doesn't help that you used to live.
Like, funny story, me and Alex Clark, if you know him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We were running, bro. We were running down Campbelltown, like we just, typical white boys. Just we'll go for a run today. So we went for a 7K run, and bro, there was a brown snake in the middle of the fucking footpath, out the front of McDonald's in fucking Campbelltown, and we both shit ourselves, like 2 6-foot blokes just like jumping out of the way, running away from a fucking snake, like
that.
Fuck snakes.
Where do you see yourself in 6 years?
Hopefully somewhere with some ice cream. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd love to be in a more secure position financially and like own property and all that type of shit.
Mm-hmm. Adult goals.
Hopefully I'll be like coaching full time.
Yeah.
Like realistically, I see myself retired from boxing in 6 years. Like I'll be 36, and but I love the sport, man. I'd love to be coaching full time. I do a little bit of coaching on the side and like help out a lot of the amateur guys at the gym. But I'd love to run my own gym one day. Yeah. It's always been a goal.
Last question.
Hopefully we can do something like that in 6 years.
If you could choose anything to do for a day or any event to go to, what would you do?
Oh. Um, fuck, bro. I would have said I would go to the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury unification fight, but
Oh,
Joshua just lost.
I
So
was spewing
I
too.
don't know, bro. I'd love to go to a big fight. Bro, I wasn't spewing because Usyk's a machine. Like, he's a great fighter. Like, it was a great fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm spewing because now that unification fight would happen, because that would be what I would do, bro. If that happened in the UK, like, tell me that wouldn't be the trip of a lifetime, bro. Go to the UK, watch undisputed heavyweight championship be fought out for the first time in like 10 years.
I don't know if it's going to happen
Bro,
anymore,
I'll jump out of a plane in the morning.
or if it does happen, it won't be as big.
No, it won't be as big. Like, hypothetically, if Joshua wins the rematch, they'll fight, but it now won't be for another year or two because Joshua will have to have that rematch. Then Fury will have another fight, and then, bro, what happens if Fury loses? You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you don't know if it'll happen now, but I hope it happens because it'll be a good fight.
That's all I got, bro. Thanks for coming
But, yeah,
on.
fuck.
Just quickly, I've loved, watching all your fights, watching you grow, not only as a fighter, but as a person, become a bit more mature. Seeing that you moved out too.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, thanks for all the support you give me with whatever I do. And I look forward to, keep watching what you do and coming to the next fight.
Thanks, Notorious. It's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me on. And chuck a shout out to Notorious Nabs. And yeah,